Huobi Weekly Market Chat. I'm Johnny, I'm a host today. And today we have two special guests. I'm so glad that Benz is here. He's been gone for 2 weeks and now Ben's here. Hello, Benz. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thanks, Benz.
I Johnny.
Uh,
It feels
Yeah,
nice to be back. Yeah, just had a surgery 2 weeks ago. I'm still recovering, but
I hope you're feeling better right now.
happy to join back
And
to this segment again. Yeah.
yeah, and also we have one more guest. We have Stephanie. She is also from Hobby Research. She is a senior analyst, and we are so happy to invite her here. And today we are going to discuss a few topics which is quite important. One of them was the BNB Crosschain bridge hack, which happened last week, and the incident actually raised so much attention around the community, and we would like to just dive deep into the details of how the hack happened, and also how to prevent similar cases from happening again. And after that, Stephanie will talk about the cross-chain communication and also something about Cosmos. And I hope you guys will find it interesting. And let's start off by just having a overview of current market. And we're definitely still in a bear market right now, and Bitcoin is trading right now at 19K, Ethereum at 1.2K, 1.3K. And also let's move on to a chart. Let's see how Bitcoin is doing right now. We have spent a lot of time trading between 25K and above the support of 70K. And now I assume that we are in a consolidation period, and it might be accumulation or a redistribution. It depends on the macroeconomic macroeconomic factors. And tomorrow we have some CPI data coming out, and make sure you guys will stay tuned to the release of CPI tomorrow, which will be 8:30 UTC time, American time. And then, yeah, Benz, what do you think about this time, the CPI data? The forecast is 8.1%, and the previous one we had 8.3%. What do you think about it?
Mm, Personally, I still feel that U.S. monetary policy still have not really taken into effect into the economy yet. And I think CPI will stay elevated above 8%, but it might be still high. I think I'm a little bit bearish on the current market right now. However, we still have to look at I think tonight 2 a.m. is FOMC Fed's minutes release. I think around 2 a.m. Maybe we can look in a deep dive into what they said on the September meeting, and see whether they really discuss on the CPI and what they're gonna do about the next data, which is tomorrow. So I think the market is going to be very volatile on Tuesday. And right now, everybody is still at this wait and see, and still waiting for the results. So I think everybody's still hanging back with HODL. So I think we might enter a bull market in maybe this quarter, maybe the next quarter. Yeah.
All right, so we are expecting more volatility coming tonight and also tomorrow evening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also I see that they have a continuing jobless claims and also initial jobless claims, and these data will be very helpful for us to assess the employment or unemployment situation in the United States, which will also affect the monetary policy of Fed.
Yes.
So yeah, just make sure that when the data come out next week, we'll cover the fresh data with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. And yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so like to highlight also like last Friday jobs data was really good. Knockout payroll and the US unemployment rate came in really good, and gives the Fed more bullets to actually hike their interest rates. So this is the reason why bad CPI result may even fuel another 75 basis points hike. This is the reason why the market is still at this I would say still going sideways. Yeah.
I see. So, what you talked about is, the job, the employment is strong, right, in the
Yes.
US, and that's why the Fed still, has some bullets, and
Yes.
they are willing to continue to raise interest rate, and market's going to face some selling pressure and downward movement, and
Yeah.
right. So another thing I want to share with you is this one. I'm sorry. Yeah, the RRP thing, the reverse repurchase agreement, and we had a spike here on September 30, but it came down. It cooled down back to the original level of 2,200 billions of dollars. Just came back down this week, and then it took a round trip. So I'm expecting liquidity to just tighten and loosen in this coming week. And as RP increase, we tend to think that the liquidity is being withdrawn from the market, and the money will tend to stay with the Fed and park with the Fed, and therefore there will be some selling pressure coming up. And then when RP decreases, and we're expecting liquidity being circulated back to the economy, being circulated back into risky assets and also other markets, and therefore we are expecting prices to surge. And that's what we can assume here based on this data. And I would like to share, just a very brief correlation chart of Bitcoin with inverted RP with you guys. It's not smoothing, it's actual data, daily data. And then nothing special here. We have been trading sideways since June, I would say, for Bitcoin only, right? And then since RP remain relatively flat, I took the inverted RP level so that it becomes positively correlated with Bitcoin. And now we are still seeing some consolidation and also sideways action here. So no bullish price action will be expected in the near future. Yeah, that's the conclusion. And right, let's move on to our topics. And last week the BNB Crosschain, the smart contract was hacked. It was actually an exploit, and originally there was 570 million BNB being I would say exploited. However, since they discovered the incident, and then BNB Smart Chain, BSC Smart Chain immediately halted the blockchain, and therefore freeze the fund and limited the injury, or I say limited the loss to around 100 million. And me and Stephanie will will try to just reveal this thing with you guys. So let's start with looking at the Twitter of BNB Chain, and also ZZ, the CEO of Binance. And then it came out that from ZZ's Twitter, an exploit on a cross-chain bridge BSC token hub resulted in extra BNB. What it means is that the hacker managed to fake the smart contract, or to forge a proof, which I will explain later. Is actually making a false proof in the smart contract, faking the smart contract to mint new BNB. And me and Stephanie will go to explain the details of this hack later on. But just first, I want you guys to have an overview of the event. And since they discovered that suspicious activity, and then BNB Chain contacted their validators to stop the hacker account from acting by just freezing the blockchain and also freezing the funds. And therefore, the BNB Chain was down for like a few hours, and users at that time, on 7th of October, could not transfer funds from BSC and also from its original beacon chain. and the BNB chain Twitter just said that they are fixing the issue, and then they freeze the blockchain because of a suspicious action that was a hack. And yeah, so it turned out that it's actually not 570 million being hacked. It's actually because they freeze the blockchain immediately, and therefore they managed to pause the stolen funds from escaping BNB chain. So if we refer to if we refer to a trader which included all of the which just sum up all the things about the hack, and then the initial estimates for the funds taken off the chain was around 100 million to 110 billion. So yeah, so the loss will be 100 million to 110 million since the fund was not from users. So the damage was not done on the users. As I mentioned, the funds was actually minted from the smart contract. And you guys might think, oh, well, it's really interesting how the hacker managed to just free mint some BNB. That sounds crazy, right? And it was actually a very high level of exploit, which I'll explain later on. And the exploit was actually taking place on the cross-chain smart contract. And then the crux of the problem is that the hacker was able to forge a Merkle proof, and the Merkle proof is actually a proof mechanism used by the cross-chain bridge, and it is actually used for validation and also to process transfer between blockchains. As we know that BNB, there are two blockchains on Binance, right? We have the BSC and also the original main chain, the Bacon chain, or the BNB chain. And then it happened that the Bacon chain, the smart contract was being exploited by the hacker, since he forged a Merkle proof. And I think Stephanie will have a better understanding, since Stephanie has been researching into Cosmos and also cross-chain communication. And Merkle proof is actually a very technical and also high-level concept in cross-chain communication. And Stephanie, would you like to just give us a brief understanding of what actually the Merkle proof is, and maybe if let's explain it from a relatively general level, so that our audience can have a just a concept of what's happening here.
Oh, well,
yeah,
Merkle proof is quite general in blockchains, because in the block header there will be a Merkle proof that can illustrate that all the transactions happened in the blockchains. And because we know that in a block there are also a block body, and they all the root of the block proof. So I think a Merkle proof is very important to the validators, to make sure that the transaction really happened on a blockchain. Yeah. So when a cross-chain activity happens, the validators need the Merkle proof to make sure the asset, like token or NFT, is really transferred to the cross-chain bridge protocol. So on the other blockchain, they will receive the Merkle proof, and they will do the like to relieve the tokens to the address that the the consumer needs to put the token, where the consumer need to put the token. So marker proof is very important in the no matter the blockchain, also the cross-chain bridge. But in other blockchain cross-chain bridges, they may not use the marker proof. They will use other proofs to verify the cross-chain activities. Yeah, I don't know. Anyone could understand that?
Yeah, very clear. And now we're understanding actually Merkle proof is a verification process happening in blockchain, especially it exists in cross-chain bridges in the smart contract connecting the bridges, connecting the blockchains. And then you also mentioned that other protocols might not actually adopt Merkle proof. Unfortunately, the hacker managed to hack the Merkle proof here in the BSC and also BNB smart contract, the cross-chain bridge. And yeah, I want to mention something. I want to talk about something that the hacker actually did in technical terms, which is I think which is really interesting. So first of all, we just explained what the Merkle proof is. It's actually, a cryptographic proof that some key value pair exists in a data store, and then we might call it a proof of inclusion. So what proof of inclusion means is that it's used to prove something that is in a blockchain so that we know it's authentic, so that we know the transaction is really true. And it's actually a process of verification so that it proves that the transaction is valid. And also so the hacker attacked the Merkle proof. Actually, I would like to I would like to explain something first. The Merkle tree actually has a left node and also a left leaf and also a right leaf. So let me just show you something here. So the Merkle tree is actually a binary tree, and each inner node can have a left and right branch. So that but when we trace back from from the root and supposedly the inner node should only contain either left or right branch hash, and therefore one of them is not being computed into the node. The hacker managed to fake the Merkle proof because they somehow generated a hash computation which stick information into the right field of the node that never got validated and never impact the hash computation, and then hence they succeeded in forging the Merkle proof. It was actually a very technical issue here, some very abstract thing, but to sum it up, we can think in simple terms like the Merkle proof is actually the verification process, and it has inner nodes, and the inner nodes are used to connect the hash and also the computation and the body of nodes, and then they have they are being interconnected, and each node has a left and right branch, and either one of them is being used to connect to each other, and one of the branch is actually not being computed into into the node. And by generating a fake information into the field that never got validated and impact the hash computation, the hacker managed to forge a Merkle proof. And then the issue actually depends on the attacker being able and manage to add leaf to a single proof. And that's why some engineers, blockchain engineers, suggest that if we want to prevent the similar cases from happening again, it's not a good idea to use range proof. Range proof is actually a general proof which includes Merkle tree and also proof of inclusion. So it's actually he is actually referring to the issue that any nodes having both left and right fields populated, and he suggested that if we want to stop this issue, if we want to stop similar exploits from happening again, and then we have to reject proofs upfront if any inner nodes have both left and right fields being populated. And that's a suggestion. And I think this suggestion makes reasonable sense because the attacker was actually, just sticking false information into the right field of the node. And therefore, by just rejecting proofs upfront, if any nodes have both left and right fields populated, we just want one of them being populated, right? Because in the Merkle tree, there's only one either left or right branch is being computed into the hash, and therefore, this blockchain engineer suggested that just reject all the proofs upfront if they have both left and right fields, and that's a reasonable suggestion. I think quite interesting to learn about this technical stuff, and that's basically the process of the hack, the exploit. And luckily, ZZ and also Binance managed to freeze the funds immediately after the incident, and that was really quick. And the concerted effort by the community, by the validators, and also by the Binance technical support team, they managed to freeze the funds and then just prevent the attacker using the fund and escaping the funds from the Binance chain to other chain. But $110 million was being stolen after all, and these funds are actually transferred out of BSC chain. The funds actually ran into other chains, for example, Avalanche, Polygon, Ethereum, USDC, and other funds, and therefore some new BNB being minted out and converted to other assets, and such just the hacker got some free money, and hopefully later on we can trace back to where the funds went to, and then hopefully we can just just blacklist these addresses so that just a punishment for the bad acting. So some thoughts here I would like to discuss with Benz, and also definitely someone actually are very worried about the action done by ZZ and his team, because since the incident, they freeze the accounts and freeze the blockchain immediately, and some people would think that blockchain is now no longer immutable, and they think that this incident actually showcased some centralization of power on the BSC chain, and that's quite a very interesting question, because when it comes to blockchain, what we think about is decentralization, and also we want things to go irreversible, immutable, and that's a very key concept in blockchain. And now what CC did was to protect the community from from being exploited, but he used a method of just freezing the bridge and freezing contracts. And what do you think about this this action? Do you think that is this a violation to the very core concept of crypto? What do you think about it? In my opinion, let me just speak first. In my opinion, I think that what CC did was just to protect the community, and that's reasonable. Just my opinion. Yeah. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think you are right, because if he didn't do that, they will lose more than $500 or $600 million, and I think that will give a lot of managers to their network, and in actually the BSC blockchain is not so decentralized because it only has 21 validators, and when compared to the Ethereum, and the number of the validators is too small. So yeah, maybe to stop the blockchain is really a good way to make compromise and save the money. Yeah.
Yeah, right. To prevent, you know, more money being exploited from the blockchain. If CZ didn't freeze the chain, and then as you mentioned, the loss would be more than 110 million. More loss could be done to the community, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, Benz, what do you think about it, Benz?
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you, Johnny and Stephanie. I think most importantly that you know, firstly he protected the finance community. He restricted more loss on the exploit. Then it could have been 500 million instead of 100 million. I think it's really no, I think he struck a balance between, like, you know, letting everything run a smart contract, and if there's an exploit, he came up with the decision fast to actually stop the exploit. Then after that, he tried to rectify it, tried to trace it back to, you know, to the best of his ability, to the team's ability. So I think it's because it comes to when, I mean, like in an organization where it's decentralized, you have to seek a lot of approvals. Then after that, before the approval actually comes in, I think more money would have been lost if that process you know, take a long time. So I think on finance part, I think they made a resolution to stop it immediately once they found the exploit, which I think is a good job on their part.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Benz, you're right. Actually, you know, the ad was, you know, just to prevent more money being stolen and escaping the chain, and therefore we have to find a balance. You're right. We have to find a balance between something. Absolutely, CC cannot just freeze some accounts or whatever whenever he want, and it doesn't actually make sense. But when attacks happen, and it's reasonable, I think the community will support this action. But you know, I when I scroll through Twitter, I see a lot of comments just saying, and also they're complaining about the chain being paused for a few hours and they cannot take out their funds, and they are so worried and freaking out. and that's, you know, some people would not think this way, and they think that, you know, crypto should uphold the core value of immutability. When a transaction happen, it cannot, you know, be reversed or being paused. And but you know, in this special case, I think they don't have other choices, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if you say like blockchain is only been around for almost a decade, it's like more than a decade now. I think in terms of exploit, you know, I think not all scripts are 100% efficient. So we will eventually come to a point where exploits can be notified immediately by with certain bots or certain AIs or certain smart contracts, and smart contracts will eventually you know conduct or execute a specific task when there's a exploit. So right now, blockchain may not be 100% decentralized, but I think the community is working towards it. So I think it's a job well done, I guess.
You're right. We're still early, right? And we
Yeah.
cannot expect, you know, everything to be perfect. Exploits are going to, you know, happen. I mean, oftenly, because, you know, there are so many, you know, very, I would say, high level blockchain engineers. I used to think that, you know, the exploits are being done by these people who could create the smart contracts, because they know where to attack and they know where to escape. And but that's just some funny conspiracy theory, just my own opinion, not to suggest anything suspicious here. Just sharing my thoughts. And Yeah, you're right. I think it's going to, you know, become better because, you know, they already fixed the issue, and I think we won't see similar cases happening again, because you know, one of the blockchain engineers, you know, on Twitter already very promptly advised a method to prevent this exploit from happening again, is to, you know, just don't use that range proof, and that's it, because there are out there some other better proofs, some better standards. For example, if we, you know, just look at the tweet I shared my screen here, um, you know, Ethan, you know, the blockchain engineer, suggested instead for Merkle proofs within IBC. IBC is actually a you know, a verification standard being used by Cosmos. And then Ethan said that a new specification was developed following more rigorous process set by the IBC standards, and in spec is called ICS 23. And what he's referring to is actually a more high level and technical and more I would say a better verification standard that can be used by other smart contracts, and you know, just updates. And you know, I think Stephanie, you know, Stephanie will have more, you know, sophisticated, you know, thoughts about this technical stuff, you know, because I you know, you researched into Cosmos and cross chain communication, and actually I have few questions, you know, just to, you know, help us understand more about, you know, cross chain security and also this thing. And hey, Stephanie, you know, just a simple question. Maybe can you explain to our audience that, you know, how why do we need cross chain communication, right? Because, you know, this hack actually took place in cross chain, and you know, why in Crosschain? You know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
We know that there are assets in the form of tokens on each blockchain, and some of which are native assets of the blockchain, and other assets defined by smart contract. These assets reflect the value and demands of the blockchain. And since blockchains come with various attributes such as high performance or privacy chains, and these chains provide a variety of applications and different revenue products, users can choose different blockchains and on-chain applications. So if we want to get a high revenue products and we for example, we want to put our assets on the other blockchains and join the DeFi products, then we need to transfer our assets. That is the first demand that need a cross-chain bridge. And yeah, this also gives rise to the need for assets cross-chain transfer. Actually, assets of different blockchains cannot be transferred directly at the physical level. That we need to understand that, because even if we use a cross-chain bridge, that doesn't mean that we really transfer one token to the other blockchains. This is not the original token. That means on the other blockchains, the blockchain need to issuance and other new tokens that one-to-one pegged to the original token. So therefore, we need to build a cross-chain bridge to finish all this process. And so the transfer of most assets is not native, but a kind of pegged assets corresponding to the transferred assets. Due to the diversity of cross-chain projects, it is difficult to count the total number of cross-chain assets, but we can acknowledge the growth of cross-chain demands from the BTC cross-chain assets. We know that under Ethereum, there is also a asset called WBTC. Its full name is Wrapped BTC, and this token means that the BTC can be transferred to the from the Bitcoin network to the Ethereum network. And in Ethereum, the BTC is wrapped in another token named WBTC. And we can see from its demand from the data, and this WBTC was issued about 2019. So the current total market capitalization has existed almost $5 billion US. So it is preciously because of the existence of the web tokens that long-term idle Bitcoins can generate huge returns and improve the efficiency of capital flow between blockchains. And we can see in the Ethereum, there are many DeFi smart contracts that use WBTC as their main tokens to do many things, such as the lending and the swap pools, and also some will give a very good revenue from the farming. So this is what really we need the cross-chain bridge.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I agree with you that cross-chain bridge allows better efficiency in just the transfer of assets, because assets are now stored in different blockchains, and by having cross-chain bridges, we can make use of these assets more efficiently. For example, you mentioned the WBTC. A lot of people are long BTC, right? I believe Bench, I think you're also long on BTC, right? And
Yes.
yeah, for us who want to stack more Bitcoin, and while we are holding the Bitcoin, we also want to use the Bitcoin to do other things, right? We want to participate in DeFi. We want to speculate some heated projects, and that's why we need to put our Bitcoin as collateral. Just what she said, we want to use our Bitcoin in the Ethereum network, and therefore we want to convert our Bitcoin to WBTC, and therefore we can use the value of Bitcoin in other projects, in DeFi space. We can take out loans, and we can speculate, and we can do all sorts of financial activities in crypto. And yeah, and another question I have for for you is that there are actually a lot of projects building on cross-chain bridges, and Cosmos is one of them. I think previously I talked to you. You mentioned that Cosmos is a very good project, and just a simple just a general question. Would you like to just brief us a little bit more about what Cosmos is? And recently it has an update, and the price surged very quickly after the update. A lot of speculation took place there. What do you think about it?
You mean the IBC technology? I think at least IBC is the one of the most safe technology, cross-chain technology, because it uses all the blockchains in the Cosmos system. I use the Cosmos SDK to build the blockchain. So this makes the IBC possible because all the underlying structure of the blockchains are the same. And I can take an example, because the information, the cross-chain information transformation is very important, because such as if we want to transfer one token from Ethereum to Solana, we need to make such as make a proof to the Solana validators. But in actually, maybe the validators cannot understand what the maker proof actually mean, and because the main reason because the Ethereum and Solana are total different blockchains. Their online structure are total different. So in IBC, the whole blockchains, their language, I can say that the language of different blockchains is are the same. So the using the IBC and the validators from different blockchains can understand the what the cross-chain information actually mean. So I think the IBC make a convenience way to prove the transformation. And why is a safe cross-chain technology? Because the Cosmos, we know that the Cosmos Hub has already updated its white paper, and in the white paper, it said that there will be a new technology or application will happen in Cosmos. It called the interchain security. In the interchain security, the validators in Cosmos Hub can also be the validators on the other blockchains. So if one validators also the Cosmos Hub and also the take the Evermorse for example, they can just transfer the assets very quickly because the validators are the same, and they can just quickly to make sure that the cross-chain transactions are really happen. And as I just mentioned before when I explain why we need cross-chain bridge, I mean that the cross-chain bridge cannot transfer the real token, native tokens, but in Cosmos, when using IBC, we can really transfer the native tokens because the validators are the same, and the language, the underlying structure are same. So the validators can make sure that the tokens are the same tokens, and the cross-chain assets will be the native assets. So the all process in the Cosmos will safer than the other cross-chain bridge mechanisms. Yeah, that's a simple illustration about the IBC.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, good to hear that Cosmos is having its update recently, and you mentioned Cosmos is safer than other cross-chain bridges, and I know that Binance BSC is also a client of Cosmos, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, but it doesn't connect the IBC technology, so it cannot freely transfer its assets among the Cosmos blockchains.
Yeah, I see. Because the BSC chain and also the Binance chain do not incorporate the IBC standard, and that's why they cannot transfer the assets from their chains to other chains. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, thank you. For your information, as I mentioned, the BSC chain is different than the Binance chain. The two chains are actually independent from each other. And that's interesting because one of them, the Binance Smart Chain, is used for interoperability. is actually incorporating the Ethereum virtual machine so that other smart contracts having the background in the Ethereum, they can migrate to BSC chain very efficiently. And while the Binance chain is used for is actually used for transactions, because do you know CryptoKitties? Do you know CryptoKitties? You heard that before? When CryptoKitties was so popular back then, and then because so many people were trading CryptoKitties at the time, the Ethereum network was actually congested because of this. And since Binance want to solve this problem, it cannot just have one smart contract which will hold all the smart contracts and also do the transactions all together. And that's a problem, because there will be so much congestion that users will have a bad experience. For example, if the network is congested, if I want to sell a certain token from somewhere being speculated so high, and the price is dropping rapidly, I want to sell. I don't want to wait for a few minutes, and that will screw up my my earnings, right? And therefore, the Binance team just developed two smart contracts, two blockchains, one for transactions and one for one for the development of smart contracts. And that's why they have two blockchains. And in this we talked about the hack, and the hack actually happened between these chains. The hack was exploited the smart contract connected in the Binance chain and also the Binance Smart Chain, and that was the case. Yeah, just for your information. Yeah. So the dual chain architecture is actually more efficient for people, for developers, and also for users, so that they can separate transactions from the deployment of smart contracts. And yeah. So I think if you want to learn more about just something about cross-chain solutions and also cross-chain communication, the kind of technical stuff, please feel free to check out the research paper written by Stephanie. It's actually on our website, Huobi Research, and you can just search for this article, this research paper, The Foundation of Interchain Valuable Interpretation of Cross-Chain Solutions. And I think this will be very helpful if you are very curious and also you find this interesting. You want to learn more about how cross-chain work, and that's your way, and that's the way for you to go. Yeah. And yeah, and I would like to also spend some time talking about X Research DAO, because it's also a platform for you to acquire new knowledge and also to look for new information. And it's actually a research institute supported by Huobi Research, and it's the Twitter account. This is a Twitter account. Feel free to follow and just join the activities up there. And yeah, and I'm sure you learn a lot from from Twitter. We have a lot of activities. For example, Twitter Space chats will publish research papers quite frequently. And yeah, just join our Discord too, so that you can participate in a community. And yeah, hope to see you there. And so lastly, we have the Candy Drop event. Yeah, it's make sure you have your Huobi app, and make sure you have some trading activity so that you have earned enough crystals to join the Candy Drop event. So the tokens will be randomly distributed to registered participants, and the tokens will be delivered within 12 hours. And we'll also select 5 lucky stars, and we'll award them with a special airdrop worth of 100 USDT. And the lucky stars will be notified via SMS. So make sure you trade enough to earn the crystals, and you join the Candy Drop event. Yeah. So I also want to to spend some time, because yeah, I would like to look at the market and let's see, Ben, what's your view on the current market? Because you said that we are facing more volatility tonight and also tomorrow, since the CPI data will release tomorrow. And what do you think about Bitcoin and also Ethereum? It's trading sideways, we know. Yeah.
Personally, I feel that there might be another minor correction, because
Minor
right
correction.
now, yes, a minor correction, because right now I think US dollar is still going really strong, and right now I think it's around the interest rate is around 350 basis points, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
correct me
this
if I'm
why
wrong.
it's really strong. You're right, and it just keeps pumping.
Yeah. So and we are still like a few months away from another couple of hikes. Terminal interest rate will be around 4.5%. So we still have a long way to go. And I think if you compare US and other developed nations or developed nations currencies around the world, I think US is one of the few nations that have a lot of rooms to increase the interest rates. Because if you look at Euro or you look at British pound, they don't have a lot of room to actually increase the interest rates further. So we might see in the next few months, DSY may even break previous high to
Previous
120.
high.
Yeah.
Breaking previous high. Oh, okay,
Yes.
cool.
This is my concern. This is the reason why I'm still a bit bearish on the current market, because flight of capital to US dollar, because interest rate parity, US dollar interest rate is really high compared to other currencies. So
Yeah, other central banks are actually, following the pace of the Fed. They are also raising interest rate. And but do you think that they will catch up the pace or they will be left behind?
most likely they will be left behind, because I don't think they have the bullet to actually go further and hike the interest rate further. Yes.
Oh, right.
Because if you
go
look
ahead.
at EU, if you look at EU, they have been in zero interest rate or negative interest rates for the longest time. And DXY is a basket of currencies, and a huge part is Euro and GBP and Swiss franc. So I think the Europe side don't really have a lot of power bullet to actually increase their interest rates further to actually keep up with the US pace. So this is my case for stronger DXY in the next few months. However, I think that for BTC price wise, we in recent weeks or ever since September's FOMC, prices are moving sideways between 18.5 to 20K. With 20K, yeah. So I think we might see a correlation between the XY and BTC prices right now, because the XY has been going sideways as well. So if in the future, the next few months, if the DXY really goes up and break previous high, we might see BTC to actually go down to previous lows.
Previous low. So will we find support somewhere else?
We might go back to around 18K territory.
Like here, 12K first.
I think that's too far.
That's too far.
Yeah, maybe around.
So
I think it's around 18K.
Yeah, right? 18K. Right, yes. 18K.
We might retest this 18K. We might retest this 18K price before I actually go.
Because you what you said was so bearish. I was actually thinking, oh shit, BTC is going to break its previous low, since DXY is breaking higher and higher, and then we are heading down to 12K or something.
Yeah, but we might see a detachment between macro environment and cryptocurrencies.
I have a question for this. Is it due to the liquidity problem inside crypto? Or detachment?
I think it's mostly a detachment because personally, I feel that at current BTC price in relation to DXY, BTC might be at the floor price.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Yeah, in
It feels
relation
like
to
so,
the
yeah.
DXY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like
So even if DXY were to go up to maybe 120, I think in terms of like relative strength, I think the lowest it may go is to retest the previous low first before they actually go lower. If really the market is so bearish.
yeah, right. Yeah. What about Ethereum? Any views on Ethereum? Will Ethereum, gets back to the correlation with Bitcoin, or it will stick to the price action of Nasdaq and also SPX? Because recently Ethereum has been trading very closely to Nasdaq and also SPX, but
Yeah.
not Bitcoin.
So for Ethereum wise, the hype previously of the merge. So Ethereum was outperforming BTC by a huge percentage. And
Yeah.
I think that hype has died down in the recent weeks. So I think we might continue to actually follow the pace of BTC.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you look at the graph, right?
Yeah.
BTC in correlation to Ethereum, right? Ethereum should be around 1K, if I'm not wrong.
1K?
Yeah, should be around 1K if it follows the BTC trend. Because past correlation like BTC and Ethereum has correlation of around 0.95. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So if they were to go back to that trend, we will see Ethereum going to around 1K.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now expect sideways consolidation and a high probability that we are going to retest a previous support, and that's the conclusion we have here. So make sure you guys just stay tuned to the FOMC meeting tonight, and they will be talking things like just letting us know, will they the pace of the tightening, will it increase or decrease? Also, they will also give us some hints about what they will do in the future to the economy. And yeah, also the CPI data tomorrow. Ben's expected that it's at least above 8, and I think that's a reasonable guess. And let's see how it turns out, right? And yeah, I think it's almost time. And I want to thank Stephanie and also thank Banks for joining me tonight, and also want to thank our audience for listening to our market chat. And yeah, hopefully you will get the airdrop. Yeah, you have been commenting in the comment section a lot. Yeah, the candy drop, and hopefully you get the tokens. And yeah, I would like to see you next week, and we'd like to again put some interesting thing on the table for you guys. Thank you, guys. Hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you,
you.
Stephanie.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.